All right, cool. Sorry about that. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining. This is Tech Talks episode 3. And we're Tech Talks is a talk where we explore the humans behind the tech. And today I have a very special guest, Katherine Peterson, who recently made this really awesome puzzle game that we're going to be playing together during the talk called Word Master. Good morning, Katherine. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Chris. I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. So tell us where you're from and how did you get into tech?
Yeah, so I'm from the Bay Area, California. Grew up here, went to college about 3 hours away, and then came back. So I'm in Santa Clara, California now, and I'm working at GitHub remotely. How I got into tech. So I actually majored in college in industrial engineering, which is not super relevant to anything I am doing now. Um, but yeah, like growing up, I always kind of knew I wanted to do some sort of engineering. Everyone in my family was a mechanical engineer, so I really branched out there doing industrial engineering. And then it was shortly after graduating, I think like 6 months or so after graduating college, I got an email from my college that was talking about this like coding boot camp that they were partnering with, which was called Full Stack Academy. And it was like this part-time remote thing. And I just was kind of like, oh, like that sounds kind of interesting. And I kind of just like on a whim randomly applied for that just to see what would happen and ended up doing it and loving it and immediately switching into software right out of boot camp. And
So
then,
so you
yeah.
you started off in industrial engineering and then you said that you went into full, did you say that you applied to Full Stack Academy or that you went through that program and then applied where?
Yeah, so so I got an email about the boot camp, but they had like an application process. And I remember it sounded interesting. I had taken a few coding classes in college and liked them. Um, and I also like I remember in the email it said like you have to pass like a logic test basically, but that it didn't require like coding, not like prior coding knowledge. And I love like doing those types of logic puzzles. So I kind of just like took it for fun because I like doing that. And then like the more I got into the process of like applying for that boot camp, it just seemed cool. And so I signed up and did it. And then, yeah, after boot camp, I actually stayed at the company that I was working at as an industrial engineer, and they let me move into software within that same company.
So with, if you can't go into great detail, that's fine. But when you stayed at the company and they moved you in more into a software role, what is it that you did? What was it that you helped the company to create and support?
Yeah, to be honest, it was kind of a bad experience for me. It was awesome because it was a foot in the door. Like I know that a lot of people out of boot camps or self-taught a really hard time getting that first tech job, and that's the hardest one to get. So I so what I really got out of that was just getting a software engineer title role that helped me get my next role 6 months later. But what was so bad about that was that they heard that I was interested in software, and they previously had a few apps that they wanted developed, and they used freelancers, and they were like, oh, this is great, like you can do them. And they basically just handed everything over to me and were like, build this. But I had no support within the company, like no one else there to go to. So it was me Googling stuff, like trying to figure it out when I had just graduated from a boot camp. So I kind of knew that that was not a place where I would grow very quickly. But it was like a good stepping stone that like led me to be able to get other jobs after.
So, can you tell us a little bit about that stack that you were working with, and kind of maybe break down why you saw it as not a good opportunity to grow? Like, what were some of the obstacles there in that situation?
Yeah. Yeah. So in the boot camp, it was like a full stack JavaScript boot camp. So we did JavaScript, Node, Express, React, that stack, Postgres, I think. And then and then at work, when I transitioned into the software engineering role, they really wanted an iOS app. And so I learned Swift right then because they wanted a native iOS app. So I was teaching myself Swift and like how to build an iOS app. And they wanted this app that the company did food automation, so like robotics in the food industry. And they had a bunch of data that they would get off of those machines. And specifically, the product that I was working with was this like basically it's a spout that goes on liquor bottles and does like portion control. So you can set it to like pour 1.5 ounces and then it'll pour exactly that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Bartenders, whenever they go to the bartending school, they put those nozzles or however you call it, and yeah, that's
yeah,
how they get the correct pour.
yeah. Well, no, so it's like that, but it's like in theory a more advanced version of that. So normally they have the normal spouts on them, but you can still do like over pours with that or like
Oh,
have waste from that. But these it was like a mechanical product that you would tip it and it would like pour and then it would stop after the correct amount. Like even if you kept it upside down.
so did that little
So
device like report back some data?
it did, yeah. So if you like tipped it back upright before you let the full pour go, it would like tell you how much actually came out. And there was a bunch of data on like bartenders actually wanted to give customers more because they didn't care about the liquor costs because they don't own the bar. And
They're
then
working for tips. Yeah.
customers would tip them more. Exactly. So we would give the bar owners back this data that was like, oh, like for each pour, they're over pouring an extra like 0.25 ounces on top of that or whatever it was. But so they were aggregating all this data in AWS, and my job was to build an app that basically was like a dashboard for the bar owners that would give them like all that data that was coming from those devices.
That's crazy. It's funny because a lot of people who might, go to these places and have a drink or whatever have no idea, that's sort of happening in the background. And it's really cool to think about, us kind of going to a bar with friends to interact and have drinks and have a conversation, socialize. And then behind the scenes, all this information's being abstracted, in a dashboard for managers or business owners to see. It's really fascinating to kind of take a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Now every time I like go to a bar, I'm always looking behind the bar to see what they have going on and I kind of like have that perspective on it now.
That's super awesome. So you tell us about the transition. Well, actually, before that, before we kind of push on from that iOS experience with that previous company, can we take it back because you said that you went to school for industrial engineering, right? And
Hmm.
you pivoted into tech. Were there any like early life influences, like early childhood, or that sort of exposed you to technology? Where you sort of and it could have been anything, right? It could have been an MP3 player, whatever. But can you tell us like when that first spark was, and then also like what got you into industrial engineering? That's pretty fascinating. It's a pretty cool uh, uh, area to be in.
Yeah, I was definitely, I think, at least somewhat interested in tech from a pretty early age. Like I was always on computers and stuff for as long as I can remember. I was born in 96, so I don't remember more computers. And I always remember, I think it was first grade, I noticed that my mom typed really fast, and I just wanted to be able to do the same thing. And I made her like sit down and teach me how to type, like touch type fast. And I remember just like typing my name over and over again. And so I remember that I could type like fairly fast for like a first grader in first grade. And like I was always on computers. I don't even know at this point what I was doing. I think the first time I played around with like messing with websites and stuff was like customizing my Tumblr theme probably in like middle school or high school. But yeah, like I was on computers and interested in it. And then I remember I considered majoring in CS, and then I signed up for an AP computer science class my senior year of high school. And I remember thinking like, okay, I'll see how I like it. And then by the time I'm applying to colleges in like November, whatever time you do that senior year, I'll like kind of know if I'm interested in it. And then that first week of that class, I had like kind of a bad experience in that I was the only girl in the class, shocker. And I remember I was they said you could use any laptop, like you had to bring your own. It was the first time they were doing this class, but I was the only one that had a Mac. And I remember the teacher was giving the instructions, and like he was saying like what to press and what to open and whatever, and he was explaining it for everyone on the PCs. So I like couldn't even get like the terminal open or whatever. Like I couldn't keep up, and no one was helping me. Like I would kind of ask and they would kind of brush it off because they were trying to keep up on their own. And I just felt like this is not a welcoming environment for me. So I ended up dropping that class, uh, and then deciding because of that kind of that like, oh, like I guess this isn't for me. Um, but like I said, I did always like think I would do some sort of engineering. I guess because it's what I was surrounded by in my family, and I was always just told like, oh, you're smart, you're good at math, like you would be good at this. And so I thought I might do mechanical engineering because that's what I knew a lot about. And then my brother's, I guess, girlfriend at the time, they're married now, she was an industrial engineer, and she kind of told me about it. And what I really liked about it was that it had a lot of overlap with business, which I don't know, it kind of drew me in. My mom, she was a mechanical engineer, but then she also got an MBA, and that I saw like how successful she was with that combination of like engineering and business knowledge. Um, so I don't know. I just wanted to explore that, and I did like it. I liked all the concepts that I learned in college about it, but I came out of that degree feeling like it was a very solid general engineering background, but like I didn't feel like I had any like really hard technical skills that I could like sell to an employer, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah. No,
so
go ahead.
coding was appealing because it was like I can say like I know JavaScript and like I have these skills and I can do this thing, if that makes sense. Which it was appealing, and I did like it. Like even when I had that experience in APCS in high school, it wasn't the material that I didn't like. It was like everything around it, like the people and just not getting the support. So once I found my way back and found a supportive community around it, like ever since then, it's been the best thing. Like I love it.
So, it there's a lot that just came out of that,
Yeah,
and
sorry.
no, you're good. This is great. No, because I want to talk a little bit about the supportive community here in a bit that you're a part of, but also the Tumblr bit. So back in my day, that was MySpace, right? You
Oh
know,
yes, yes,
it's
yes.
like for the whole CSS thing. But no, I think it's an interesting combination, like you said, between your MBA and then the industrial engineering part, right? And you know, I think there's a lot that could be said there because you know we talk about these in a lot of different spaces in terms of you know beyond the technical skills or the hard skills, those soft skills, communication, trying to translate between you know the features and the business and how they work together to support you know the initiatives, right? I think that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you know people can be really fixed on maybe one or the other, but then having just a bird's eye view or definitely having both of those skill sets can make you a very strong candidate in just about anything that you do.
Yeah, I did love that about that major. Like it was very people focused and we did a lot of like group projects and we would go work with real companies and like help them make some process more efficient and come back and do presentations and people were very like had really good people skills within that major and we took like a broad range of classes that gave me a good foundation, I think, in engineering in general. And then to take that and now like kind of niche down and grab some harder technical skills, I think ended up being a good combination, even though it wasn't the plan necessarily.
So you touched on like the struggles of being a woman in tech or a woman in education, even right at first.
Mm-hmm.
In that sort of one of the first bad experiences, and you said that you dropped out of that class was again because you were the only female in the class. You also happened to be the only Mac user in that class at the time, and that you just did not feel that supported. Can you, for any of the women in tech who are listening, can you talk about some of the challenges that you faced and maybe share some advice or tips on like how you were able to overcome those challenges or even sidestep them?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. As you were like repeating that experience back to me, I was kind of smiling to myself because I'm in such an opposite place now. Like my team at GitHub is majority women. We did a count the other day, but it's like a high percentage and my management chain above me is like four women and then the CEO who's a male. Which is awesome. And then we all use Macs. So it's like the exact opposite of that experience. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't think I modeled like the best thing, which was just dropping out. But at the same time, like I think if the situation's not healthy, it's okay to like leave it and find something better. Um, it's kind of sad for me that it like made me kind of walk away from this path for 4 years before finding my way back. Um, but even once I found my way back, in the boot camp, I think we were four women out of 42 or something. So that's really small. And I mean, I've had good experiences since then. I don't know. I don't know if I have any great advice. It is hard. Um, but I think, I don't know. There are places out there that are supportive, and I think it's getting better all the time. Um, and I think what I try to do is like support other women that I see who are in tech or getting into tech and just like kind of trying to push things in the right direction. Um, I don't know if I have any great tips on like how to handle it other than just to like try to find a community that is supportive and just like surround yourself with the right people.
So back on the community topic, when did you find the community that helped to support you and when and where did you find that?
Yeah, so I would say I guess I finished my boot camp in 2019 and then I worked at the company we already talked about and then I worked at another startup after that which I was also the only woman there. Um, and let's see, I guess I was there for like almost a year. And at that point, I didn't know many people in tech, like outside of the people that I met in my boot camp or that I directly worked with. I hadn't like met other people that were in tech. And then last year, almost like exactly a year ago, I think, was when I joined Twitter. Um, and I guess to be fair, I was on Twitter before that on a different account, um, which was just like my personal account that I had had since high school. And I followed a few people that were in tech on that account, but I didn't really feel like I interact with them. I don't know. I was kind of just like lurking in a sense. Um, so but I wanted to be part of it. Like I had thoughts, but like it wasn't really. I knew that if I tweeted about it, my followers, who were just like people I knew from home stuff, like wouldn't care about that stuff. So I decided to start from scratch and make a new account that was gonna be like purely tech focused. So that was a year ago, and I just like met so many awesome people on Twitter. Um, and then I ended up joining a Slack group, which you're in now. When did you join?
I think maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago, Eden
Okay, yeah,
invited.
super
Yeah.
recent. Yeah, so I I'm trying to remember. I think it was Nacho that invited me. But yeah, that was I think last February. And the people in there were amazing. Like definitely one of the most supportive communities I've ever experienced. I don't know if you've had the same experience so far, but
Yeah, no,
it was
totally,
great.
totally have. And, there was one other Discord community that I was a part of prior to that, which was a great community. I'm not a big Discord user. I'm
Yeah.
kind of partial to Slack, and that's just, I've got a lot of other organizations that I'm a part of in Slack. So it's just more convenient, to sort of toggle between them all. But yeah, the community has been great, and it just so happened that all the awesome people within that community, I was already connected with and sort of talking to on Twitter, and it just so happened that they were just all like sitting over here on the side, like hanging out, and I was like, oh, okay, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you were already connected with like everyone. We were like, why is Chris not in here already? But yeah, they were so supportive. And last, I guess, like in the months immediately following joining that group was when I like released a side project that ended up like getting me my job at GitHub. And they were all so supportive of me through that. They were like the first ones that contributed when I open sourced that project. And yeah, so that was where I found my community. Also, hi Eden, Rocco, Annie, Nick.
Yeah. All right. So we're getting to the good part, and we're almost about halfway in, and we do have a game to play together here in just a bit, but we're coming up to the part where we've kind of walked through early Catherine, baby Catherine. And then we sort of worked the journey through, education and career. So you mentioned that you worked on a project and that the community that you're a part of contributed to that project. And that project basically helped to land your role at your current place. So tell us a little bit. And by the way, was it the industrial engineering? Was it the place that you'd left previously to join GitHub? The iOS app that you were working on?
No, yeah, there was one step in between, which was a startup of like five or less people that was building a mental health app. They're still building it; it's in beta right now. But that was actually something. It's funny. Every job I've had since boot camp has been like kind of I don't know. I don't want to say like random, but kind of random that I've landed there because that one was I heard that they were building this app while listening to a podcast and they were like really excited about it. And they were just starting out and I emailed them and like I said, like I didn't have a lot of support in that first job that I was at. So I was definitely willing to leave. And I reached out to them and was just like, I'm very passionate about what you're building. Like, could I just help out like on the side for experience to learn from you guys and just because I care about the mission and I want to be part of it. And I remember they first replied and they told me like we don't have time to mentor a junior right now. And I was like, all right, that's okay. And then he was like, but like maybe tell me what experience you have, send me your resume. So I did that and he was like, all right, let's talk. And then he ended up being like, okay, I'll give you to work on and we'll see how it goes. And I remember I was like, all right, I'm going to prove it to him. So I finished it like that day, like that night after our call and like sent it back to him, like sent in a PR or whatever. And he was like, all right. So we kind of just kept going. And so I ended up working with that on them on the side of my other job for 4 or 5 months. And then they brought me on full time. So then I was there for like another year, I think, before switching again.
That's awesome. So like there was a great chance that you were about to just, be shrugged off or whatever, but something, it must have been something in the resume or something you said or how you came across that individual that was just like, oh, okay, like let's give her a test, right? And then you're gonna go in and say, yeah, like I'm gonna make you not regret this, right? Like I'm gonna totally prove you wrong, and then you did, right? So then you joined them and you were with them for a while, and then okay, so fast forward back to the community and back to your open source project that you put out there that landed you at your current role. So tell us about that. Like what is the name of the project? What inspired it? And how did the community come together to support it?
Yeah, so that project's called readme.so, and it was an idea that I had written down a while before that. I like keep a list of ideas that I randomly come up with. Most of them are bad. But I had a weekend where I was going to go on a trip and I ended up not going, and I had already taken a day off of work. So I had this 3-day weekend and I was like, I want to build a side project this weekend, but like something kind of reasonably scoped where I can finish it in the weekend. And I remember looking through that list with Nick, who is my fiance, who I think he's on the call.
Hi, Nick.
And so I saw that idea, and like Nick and I kind of talked it out and kind of talked about how to keep it simple and like what it would be. And I built it in a couple of days, I think. And it was mainly, oh, sorry, for anyone who doesn't know, it's like basically an online README generator, creator, editor thing where you like, there's a bunch of pre-built kind of section templates, and you can click on which ones you want, add your content, and like drag and drop the sections around and then export it. And I mostly was building it. I mean, I had written it down as an idea because I ran into that, I guess, the problem of not knowing what to put on a README. And every time I would have to write one, I would just look at like examples in other repos and kind of be like, okay, they talked about like how to deploy it or like how or whatever. And I would grab bits and pieces of each one. So that was how that idea came. And so I wanted to build this thing for me, like to help myself out whenever I have to do that. And I tweeted about it just because I tweet about what I'm doing in life. And people kind of liked it. And I remember someone replied and requested a feature. I don't remember what, but they said like, oh, if it's open source, I can implement it for you. And I had never my own projects before, but I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll open source it. So then I had to figure out how to do that. And then I forget how it exactly started, but people in that Slack group started helping me out. I think we just wanted to kind of pair on stuff together, just like for fun and learning. So we just grabbed some issues from README and like worked on them together. And they were the first contributors to that project. And we would all kind of tweet about coding together and about like, for some of them, it was their first time contributing to open source. And it kind of picked up from there. Other people started contributing. And then what really like pushed it over the edge was when GitHub tweeted about the project. And I just recently like found out in our work Slack, like who actually like brought that up and suggested posting that on the GitHub Twitter. But yeah, so they tweeted about that and then it started getting a lot of attention. I think Sarah Drasner tweeted about it after that. And then I think a couple weeks later, a manager from GitHub DM'd me and basically asked if I was interested in working at GitHub. And then the rest is history.
Sorry, I was posting a tweet of yours up in the Jumbotron, and I like to do this on talks. I like to do a little bit of digging in the past, and I think the tweet up here speaks volumes to what you were mentioning earlier. Just kind of having.
Wait, I don't see it. Is it there?
It should be coming up here in just a second. It says lying awake. side projects running through my head. So yeah, that's
Story of my life.
and that's super awesome, right? I mean, I think a lot of people that sort of have a lot of aspirations and thoughts and ideas, I mean, they totally relate to that. And I think that's really awesome that you were able to set aside time, and I think also that was really smart, right? That you wanted to achieve something in a weekend, and you wanted it to be impactful, but you also wanted to make sure that the scope was small enough to achieve that, or else it would just become another, half finished repo, right? Or half finished project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's something people run into a lot. Like people joke about like their unfinished side projects and stuff, and I have some too. But I think you get like a like burst of motivation and inspiration sometimes, like on a weekend or something like that, and you'll like work on it for 3 days. But if you don't get it to a point where you can deploy an MVP, like you, there's a good chance that you'll never end up doing it. And I think just getting something out was my motivation to keep going, because at that point people were using it and they were giving me feedback and stuff, so I couldn't really stop working on it. I mean, I could, but like people were getting value from it, and that was my motivation to keep adding to it and making it better.
So I am pulling up another one here that I found interesting. So, and it might take
If
a
you're
minute.
talking, Chris, you're muted.
Oh, shucks. Yeah, you're right. Got me. No, thank you for that. So I posted another one up top, another one of your tweets. You're responding to Brad Traversy, which I've watched tons of his videos and learned a tremendous amount from him. But it looks like you're responding about React styled components in Ruby and Rails and Postgres. Yeah. Yep. What type of stuff did you learn from Brad?
Oh man, I don't remember at the time. I think, what was that tweet? They were asking my tech stack at work. Yeah, that was my tech stack in that job at the startup right before GitHub, which was nice because that Rails knowledge really came in handy for moving over to GitHub, since that's like all they use there. Let's see, Brad. I remember watching his videos that were like how each year he does the one where it's like, what are they called? He just released one.
Is it
but it's basically like the entire web development landscape for each year.
Yeah. Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, I remember I would watch those just to like get familiarity with all the tools, because there's so much in web development, right? Like for every piece of the stack, there's like 10 options for what you can use. And I like just like being, I guess, aware of all the options, and kind of, at least even if I don't use them, like understanding what advantages they have over the other.
Yeah, I can't remember. Well, I don't know who actually coined this, but I hear a lot of folks use it in many different spaces. The T-shaped learning, where it's kind of like know a little bit of everything, or just be aware of everything. You don't even necessarily have to know it, and then figure out what where your passions are. Then you can drive down from there.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of amazing people who put out amazing content, if you've checked out Brad's stuff, have you checked out fireship.io? Those 60-second videos?
I haven't. What is that?
Oh my goodness. I hope that I'm not butchering the name. I do believe it's fireship.io.
That looks great, yeah.
Oh my goodness. He puts out these 60-second videos, and they're so incredibly funny. At least I think they are. And it's just like by the end of the video, you're aware of it. And if you've got some experience in development, you actually would be able to grasp the concept pretty quickly. So I don't know. I just think that is a, he's not sponsoring this talk, but I just think that I would totally love to support that individual.
I love that. I'm guilty of like watching tutorials of things that I know I have no practical use of, just for fun, because I like to just like see what it's all about, even if I know that I'm not applying that anytime soon.
So we got about 20 minutes left, and we're going to get into this most recent project. Let me pull let's see. Okay, so I'm going to throw up another tweet here on the Jumbotron. And this one, while it's loading for you, this one says, my brother's been playing Wordle. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I've never even played that game. My brother's been playing Wordle every day, and he asked me to build him a version that he could play more than once a day. So what's going on here?
Yeah, so I discovered the game Wordle in early December, I want to say. Um, and then during kind of the break for the holidays from I was with my brother and I showed him, or no, I think originally I showed it to him because I was stuck and I sent him a screenshot asking him for help. And he had the same thought that you told me yesterday you had, which he was like, "Is this like a crossword?" Like he couldn't figure out which direction things were going because I just sent him a screenshot with no context. Anyways, um, but he liked it, and then he was like, "Oh, like let's play again." And I was like, "No, like you can only play once a day." And he was like, "Oh, that's lame." And then he was like, "You should just build one." And I was like, "Eh." And he was like, "Yeah, build it." And then we had plans the next night for dinner, and I remember he was like, "Can you have it done by tomorrow night so we can play?" I was like, I was like, "I have like stuff to
That's
do."
pretty aggressive.
Right? I mean, he was like slightly joking, but I like,
You're up for the
I like a
challenge.
challenge. Yeah. So and I was off from work. I had some free time. So it wasn't done in a day, but it was functional. It didn't look good. I hadn't pulled in. Nick is my design guy. He did the design on the site. Um, when I made it, it did not look great, and then I was like, "Can you just like take this and make it better?" And he did. Um, but yeah, so I built that basically because my brother asked me to, but yeah, I didn't expect so many other people to want the same thing. And I feel like Wordle itself has like picked up a lot in popularity since then.
So we're about to dive into a game of well, actually, hold on. So before that, okay, so sorry, I'm jumping the gun here because I'm really excited to play this with you and see how bad I am at it. But so you built the game. It was inspired by Wordle, and it sort of took off, kind of like how README took off. Can you talk us through how you built it, the stack that you built it in, and how you sort of sourced all of this, and how it's been received?
Yeah, I built it with React, just a plain React app, create React app, and Tailwind, and that's basically the whole stack. For the words, I used, I just like looked up dictionary API, and I found some site that I downloaded some JSON off of that was like all valid 5-letter words. Um, and then at first I left it like that, where it was just one list of words, and then for the answers, it would like pull a word from that list randomly, and that would be the answer. But it turns out there's a lot of valid 5-letter words that people have never heard of. So I wanted to make a list of like common five, or not even common, but just like filtering out things that people wouldn't know. So I'm sure there was a better way to do this, but I manually went through the list and deleted all the words that I didn't know. So I was totally biased to just like whatever words are in there are words that I knew. Um, and I've still gotten, I definitely missed some. I get tweets every day that are like, "Oh, this was the answer. This like no one knows this word," so I still have to go in and delete stuff sometimes, but it's pretty good. So yeah, there's 2 lists of words in there that I just pulled off of online. And then yeah, as far as how it's been received, it's been really, really overwhelmingly positive. I think Wordle was an awesome concept. It is an awesome concept. I actually love the once a day aspect of it. Like, again, like this was my brother's wish to be able to play it unlimitedly. I love Josh Wardle's like goal of having it be something that's like not intrusive, that there's like the social aspect of it, of everyone having the same word. I thought that was really awesome. And I wanted to make sure I wasn't stepping on any toes. So I DM'd him. Um, and I was like, I don't know if you saw, but I just posted like my own version of the game. And he responded and he was like, oh, I saw that, like, awesome job. Um, so yeah, I mean, but then it turned out a ton of other people wanted the same thing my brother wanted, because I've gotten a lot of people reaching out to me super positively and just like really enjoying it. And I really like the messages that I get from people like saying that they've been enjoying it in like hard times in their life and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
And
threw a tweet
I
up at the
also
top. No, go ahead. Go
oh
ahead.
yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say I also open source this project, so I've also had people contribute, and that's been awesome.
Yeah, I threw a tweet at the top here that you posted recently and said, the fact that I can write some code and bring even the slightest amount of joy to people makes me very happy. And isn't that true though? You know, like
It's so cool.
when you do, I mean, you're not getting paid a dime for it. And you just did it because, again, that your brother was just like, can you get this done tomorrow? Because I want to play. And, and the fact that it just kind of takes off and you find that, you know, other people out there want it the same thing. It has to feel gratifying, right?
It's so cool because it was the same thing with README, where it was something that I built for myself. And I love, I guess, that I have the platform I do on Twitter, that like I can share what I'm doing. And sometimes it's stuff that people don't especially care about. And sometimes it's things like this that pick up and people get some sort of value out of. And I don't know, it's so cool to me. Like a year ago or over a year ago when I wasn't on Twitter, like I didn't have that. Like I would be doing this stuff and I wouldn't get to share it with people. And that's such a fun aspect of it.
All right. So we're about to play some Wordmaster up at the very top. And I might try to go ahead and pin this back at the beginning here. But if you scroll all the way to the right of the Jumbotron, you're going to see a live video feed right now of both Katherine and I. We have our screens streaming live to Twitter. So let me go ahead and see if I can post this back to the top in the Jumbotron. There we go. Okay, so if you click that, you're going to see the tweet with a live video streaming to Twitter. And we've got, Katherine's got a hello. There you go. I want to start with hello too. We're probably going to have two different words.
Is it showing? Okay, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's probably, and by the way, there's going to be a major delay, right? Because, you know, we're streaming video on one platform and we're having a conversation on a different one. So, but yeah, we'll give it about another 10 seconds or so. If you all want to go ahead and click on the link up top and watch Katherine embarrass me by playing Wordmaster.
Chris is really good at this game.
Yeah. Okay. You're setting me up for failure here. All right. So I'm going to use hello. So here we go. Let's get started.
I'll do the same. We have different words, by the way, for everyone.
Yeah.
Watching.
So, all right. I've got, I've got 2 letters.
All right. You got an advantage over me here, though.
Okay. All right.
You got 2 letters.
How about, I don't even know 5-letter words. I only know 1-letter words. Okay. I'm just going to be random with it. Yeah, no. I didn't even use E or O as the best next one. The first one was hello, so I had E and O, but the next word I used was truck. I didn't even use the 2 letters.
But that's not a bad strategy, though, because you want to figure out what the other letters are, right?
All right. Hey, Blue. How are you doing over there? I'm on number 3.
I need to catch up.
I'm just being random. How about Drake?
I bet yours is like ED at the end.
No, well, ED at the end?
Yeah, I'm just guessing.
I've got a D and an O and an E. Oh, okay, hold on.
I'm looking at yours, but it could be like,
Oh, you're helping me. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. Why am I helping you? Okay, hang on. Let me look at mine.
Let me look at yours. Hold on. What do we got? You got hello. You've got drain and sweet. And then you've got
Sweet
fakes.
sweat.
Oh, see, I'm terrible. I told you I'm terrible at this.
Oh, did you just misread it? I thought you thought that was how you pronounce that.
I said sweet, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. See? There we go. Already embarrassing me. Let's see.
I don't think I'm gonna get this.
Oh, well, we know.
The people watching are probably like, it's so obvious.
I know they're yelling at us. It's like, it's this word. You're so dumb. Uh,
Someone DM me my answer.
I bet you the answer. People
I
are already
won't tell
tweeting the
Chris.
answers. All right, let's see. How about? I don't know why I keep wanting to just say toyed, but like toyed. That's not even a word. Is that a word?
Toyed?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I'm just trying to grasp for anything that ends with an ed, and my brain is like not working. Um. Okay. I use armed. Ed is the last two, so you were right.
Ooh.
And I'm on my last one. So we need a
Oof. I'm struggling. I'm not gonna get this.
Um,
What do you have? You have an O is the only other thing you know? Alright, I feel like there's a lot of things that it could be.
Zoned. Mine was zoned.
You know, I always miss it when there's a Z in it.
I did owned. Owned was my last one that I tried. It was zoned. All right, you're on your last one. Let's see.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh. Here, I'm gonna see if anyone's tweeted the answer. Don't be cheating now.
Okay, so the E and the A both have to be in the first or the last spot. Probably more likely to be the E at the end, I feel like.
Oh, no one's posted the answer. All right, people are keeping it honest. Here we go.
Wow, look at them go. Or they don't know either.
Let's see. Wow, yeah, you have no
Let's
greens.
see. Yeah.
So we have S A E S A E. And no green, so you have no idea even the
I
placement.
have no idea. I just know that the E and the A are on the ends.
The E and the A is going to be on the end?
Yeah, so A isn't in any of the middle three and E isn't in any of the middle three. So it's either A first, E last, or
Apple.
E first, A
What
last.
about Apple?
Oh, wait, no, that doesn't have an S.
No. Oh.
I like that idea though.
Snapple. No, that's not too many letters. It's got to have an S in it. And the A and E is at the end. I feel like it has to begin with, well, it doesn't have to begin with A.
I feel like that too though. Like I feel like more words end with E than A.
Now I can't even think of a single 5-letter word that begins with A. That's the struggle.
Except for Apple.
Let's see. Aim. No. All right, someone give us the answer. Someone's got to have a good guess here.
Oh, man, I'm disappointed in myself.
Let's see. Angst? No. Got to end with E.
I guess it could end with A.
I was gonna say eager. but that wouldn't work. No, that doesn't have an S.
It's because I didn't follow my strategy. I usually have the same 3 words that I always start with.
All right, we got about 6 minutes left, so throw anything in there. What do we got?
All right, we're gonna do apple, even though we know it's wrong. It was a
Abuse. Oh my goodness.
that felt like abuse.
Your longest streak is 52. So wait a minute. How are you keeping the streak there? Are you storing like a cookie or something?
Yeah, it's just in local storage.
Cool. That's awesome.
I can make my streak longer to make myself feel better.
So if someone totally wants to like override local storage and then just paste a screenshot.
Yep.
Who beat
This is what I normally do. I normally do these 3 words. Let me see if I can get it faster.
All right, see.
That's wrong, but no. Oh no.
I usually just do hello. So.
Got it. Okay, feel better.
What? No.
The problem with hello is that I use the L twice.
Hold on. Wait a minute. What did you get?
I already forgot. Mercy.
Mercy. I just used mercy. Let's see. I've got an M, a C, and an L.
Climb.
Ooh. So we don't see L.
What other vowels do you have?
Clamp?
Ooh, you haven't done A yet? Ooh, yeah.
Oh.
Clump.
Clump. Yay!
Nice. Is that your first win ever?
No.
I said longest streak 1. I guess you could have done one.
Oh,
before.
hold on. Where is? Which, by the way, Googling Wordmaster, you popped up number 1 for me. How do I get back? Can I get back to the win screen? No.
I was just having this conversation on the PR.
Can I see? Oh, well.
You can't. You could type in words until you lose.
Oh.
It wouldn't be a win screen. It would be a loss screen, but it would show your streak.
Yeah, longest streak 1. Well, wait a minute. No, I'm pretty sure that I did win. I promise you I'm not lying here. I'm pretty sure that I won a game 2 nights ago. So if I won a game, if I won one game there and one game here, that would still count as one streak, right?
Yeah. So you've just never won 2 in a row. You're good.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not good, but no, cool.
But you're improving.
This is awesome. And whose idea was it to do the pneumorphic style, right? Am I saying that correctly? Isn't that the design style?
Yeah. And there's a Tailwind library for it, which is cool. That was Nick's idea. He had been wanting to use this style on a site, but I guess it's I think not very accessible. It was just never something that he wanted to use in a real production thing. So this was a good play project to use it on.
This is awesome. And I think I said pneumorphic. I think it's pneumorphism maybe is the name of it. I'm probably butchering that, but
yeah.
This is awesome. Katherine, we're going to start winding down. It doesn't look like we have any questions for you in the thread, which is sad face, but maybe it's just because we covered everything, right? But no, this is super awesome. And, it's pretty telling. I mean, a really, beyond the tech and beyond everything else, I mean, your story of being a female in tech and just even hearing about some of those early challenges in the classroom, I think that, especially me being a male, I've never experienced that, right? So, I think that I love building empathy because I feel that without it, that, there's no way for any of us to be able to feel or connect with each other. And, because I've never experienced those things, had you not shared your story or have had no one else shared their story, we would continue on the way that we've always continued, right? And then so the only way to change is to be aware of it. And I appreciate you sharing your story. And I think that, even though you didn't necessarily, you did mention that when you hit a wall, you just kind of pivoted and then went a different direction. And, I would argue that that's as good of a strategy as any other because, not everyone, our time is precious, right? And not everyone is going to have a ton of time to want to fight against something with no promise of a change at the end. And it takes more than one person to actually pivot or make a change like that in society. So I think as an independent individual, you deciding to take a different course of action is a great strategy. And I think, I just want to say I appreciate you, and I appreciate you sharing your story and your journey.
Yeah, thank you. I agree that like without having spaces like this where people can talk about it, like people who have the privilege of not having to deal with any of those things, like they will just carry on because they're just not aware of it. And I think that's why like having conversations like this and like providing a space and listening is so important. So thank you.
Oh, thank you again. Well, we're going to wrap it up on that. Got to get back to work. But I appreciate everyone for coming in and listening to this Tech Talk with Katherine Peterson. Be sure to follow her. If you're not already, go check out Wordmaster and readme.so. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Awesome. And make better README files by using her tool there. And thanks again. This Thursday, we are going to have a surprise guest that we'll be tweeting about here in just a little bit. So tune in this Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And if you have any interest on wanting to be a part of an upcoming Tech Talk, be sure to slide into my DMs and say hello and let me know that you're interested. Thanks again, Katherine. You all have a great day.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
Bye.